After World War II, the world was left with many political and military tensions about how a country should be run or how large the size or might of a rival military may be. This led to a Cold War between the Western and Eastern blocs. The United States of America and the Union of Soviet Socialist Republics were the largest nations that had a stake in this war. A staple from the beginning to the end of the war is the arms race that ensued between the USA and the USSR. Now, what is an arms race, you may ask? Well, an arms race is a rapid, competitive increase in quality or quantity of equipment of military and naval power between rival states in peacetime. The USA and the USSR would compete between the might of their armored vehicles, air forces, infantry, and eventually their stockpiles of nuclear weaponry. This build-up and advancement of nuclear stockpiles brought forth the concept of M.A.D, mutually assured destruction. The idea of M.A.D was one of the major reasons why the Cold War never turned into a hot war. The USA and the USSR were too scared out of their boots that they wouldn't risk an open attack, for they feared that such an attack would annihilate the world and, more importantly, their nations and ideologies. Now, a representation of the arms race is brought to you by a gentle American farmer and a Russian serf who have also willingly volunteered for the position. The Cuban Missile Crisis occurred in 1962 when the U.S. decided to stick some nuclear missiles in front of the Soviets' doorstep in Turkey, and the Soviets responded by placing their missiles in Cuba. This led to American officials to panic and demand that the missiles be moved away. An eventual agreement led to the Soviets removing their missiles and launch sites from Cuba, and the U.S. removing their missiles from Turkey and promising not to invade Cuba a second time. Now for a dramatization of the Cuban Missile Crisis.
Oh. So I see your forces in Eastern Europe. You commies.
I see your look. I raise your one ICBM.
But you can't do that.
I just did.
But you can't.
We are USSR. We do what we please.
Waving your missiles around, you're both printing up beautiful ideologies. While the Vietnam War was started in the 1950s, most people only cared when the Americans went full hog in 1965, when combat units were introduced. By 1969, over 500,000 U.S. military personnel were stationed in Vietnam. In the war, both sides are known for their brutality, the U.S. utilizing large artillery, airstrikes, and napalm. Now, the Viet Cong were no angels either. They were known for setting up deadly traps and ambushes that killed many Americans. One of the most notable offensives that played to these strategies was the Tet Offensive in 1968, when the Viet Cong let the Americans fall into a false day of rest that ended with the large-scale attacks on the majority of South Vietnam.
Hey, man. Hear about this weird holiday these Vietnamese got? Man, they ain't gonna, day of peace, I heard.
So we're not doing anything today?
Hopefully not. I mean, hopefully we won't be needing these.
Thank the Lord.
Hey, man, let's take a drink. Drink to a day of rest.
To the Vietnamese.
To the Vietnamese.
Ooh, too bad they couldn't see that coming. In 1973, American forces began withdrawing, and in 1975, South Vietnam fell to full-scale invasion from the north. And so ends the war against the Americans to save the nation. Now to bring things to the Europeans' ballpark, let's go to Germany, specifically Berlin. What's there in Berlin, you may ask? Well, the Berlin Wall. The Berlin Wall was the Soviets' attempt to divide West and Eastern Berlin since The majority of the people that wanted to leave Eastern Berlin were the educated people that had to do all the specialized jobs. The wall officially came under construction in 1961. However, division of the city stretches back before then. Throughout the lifespan of the wall, there had been many points of contention that led to controversy. One such event was the killing of Peter Fetcher.
This is what happens when you try to escape! Look, we cannot come get you now. It is not safe.
Someone just help me already, God!
Hey, Russian, why don't you go get him?
I'm literally dying right now. Someone help.
Alright, okay, Kami, go get your comrade. Come on, I really don't want to do it.
I will try to come get you, but I don't want to get shot myself. That capitalist pig may shoot me.
I'm on your side. Well, what? We can put our differences behind us. Just help.
Look, I want to get you as much as you want to get over the wall, but I don't want to die myself.
Oh, now you're bringing that up, huh?
Why you got to bring drama into this?
Drama, you shot me in the back.
Eventually, the wall came down in 1989 and reunited West and Eastern Berlin. And so the Soviets' attempts to keep out the fascist Western led to, well, them failing rather horribly. Eventually, the Soviet Union would crumble under its own weight in 1991, and so the Cold War would end. Thanks for listening, folks, and hopefully you've learned a bit about these events that could have led to the end of the world. Stay tuned for your regularly scheduled programming.
Калинка моя, в саду ягода, малинка, малинка.